Back in around 2000, 2001, one of my classmates was raving about this video game arcade that had the PlayStation consoles. Being bored and having some spare cash, we recruited a few more kids, cut class, and headed over there. The place was in Rahova, close to the infamous bad side of town Ferentari, so this had better be worth it. We get there and there are a bunch of PlayStation consoles, and I see kids playing a variety of games, Mortal Kombat 4 and Heart of Darkness being the ones I recognized. The way it worked is you would pay by the hour, and you would be able to play whatever game they still had available. So we asked what fighting games we can pick, and the lady recommended Tekken 3. So we started playing the game, a few rounds each, taking turns. The characters that stood out to me the most were Eddie for his capoeira fighting style, Nina for her special agent look, King for his animal head, and my favorite Yoshimitsu for being a skeleton robot ninja with a laser sword, seemingly the only weapon in the game. Keep in mind that at this point I had already played Mortal Kombat 4, Virtua Fighter 2 and Battle Arena Toshinden, so 3D fighters no longer blew me away. Add to this the fact that the characters seemed to mostly just fight hand to hand, that is to say there were no weapons, fireballs or fatalities, and I wasn't that blown away by the game. During my early college years, my dad bought me my very first game console as a gift, a PlayStation 2. I played the hell out of it, Devil May Cry 3, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, the 3D Mortal Kombat games. I was in love with this little system. My girlfriend at the time would eventually get her own PS2, and the game that came bundled with it was Tekken 5. Naturally, she played the hell out of it and would keep telling me about the characters in the world, but since I wasn't into the game that much, the information would go into one ear and come out the other. While I still wasn't a fan, we would play matches together from time to time, but they were all pretty one-sided. I tried looking into the move list, but the instructions confused me as I would see 4 circles in an almost square-like pattern and couldn't tell which button was which, so I just gave up and button mashed until she inevitably mopped the floor with me. Over the following years, it seemed like everybody and their dog owned a PS2, and it was at this time that I noticed something interesting. Every female gamer I knew liked Tekken, whereas every male gamer I knew was indifferent or even hated Tekken. This led me to believe that maybe Tekken was targeted more towards women, and that's why I could never get into it. Keep in mind this was before Facebook, so public discussion was usually limited to forums, where unless someone opened a thread or you joined a specific forum, you wouldn't see the subject discussed. So all I really knew was that the games must be making money since they keep releasing more of them, and that within my immediate friends it was mostly women who played them. Well, okay, there was this one dude that was super into Tekken, but then again he was also big into horoscopes and Spanish soap operas, which didn't really help disprove my observation. I remember we played Tekken 5 one night and he would constantly win. And not just win, he would do near perfect victories. This highlighted one of the things I didn't like about the game. It seemed like no matter what button I pressed, my character would take a short coffee break after doing an attack, whereas my opponent would rain down blows in rapid succession, taking down large chunks of health with each new combo. Naturally, this just frustrated me and made me hate the game even more. Time passed, and over the years I would give Tekken 5 another chance now and then, but would always get very tired of it fairly quickly. The most notable attempt was when I got my hands on Dark Resurrection for the PSP and actually finished the arcade mode for the first time. It was with Roger Jr., in case you were curious. Over the years, I would see the game on store shelves, most notably Tekken Hybrid Collection and the PS3 bundle disc simply titled Fighting Edition, but the 7th generation came and went and I hadn't touched a single new Tekken game. A few years ago, I was interested in getting a 3D fighting game for my PS4 and I decided to look into Tekken 7 as a possibility, but what I had read and seen of the game pushed me to buy Soul Calibur 6 instead. Yet again, I would not attend the King of Iron Fist tournament. The date is April 15, 2022, and I finally buy the definitive edition of Tekken 7 for $30. I did the story, arcade mode, treasure mode, even checked out the online, and only 2 days later, on the 17th of April at 10:59 AM, I unlocked the Platinum Trophy. I don't know if it was my recent Fatal Fury marathon, but something finally clicked. I was hooked on Tekken. Even after the Platinum Trophy, I still kept playing. A few weeks ago, I got my hands on Tekken 4 and decided to boot up the old PS2, which still works after all of these years. I started doing the story mode and couldn't believe I missed out on such an amazing series simply because I could never be bothered to learn the moves. While the PS2 games aged super well, I was curious about the PS1 games, got my hands on Tekken 2 and was surprised to find myself actually enjoying it. I picked up Tekken 3 as well and was even more surprised. Not only was the combat deep, but the visuals were very close to early PS2 quality, making it one of the best looking games on the original PlayStation. After a bit of searching online, I managed to find all of the games, including a sealed fighting edition for the PS3 containing Tekken 6, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and Soul Calibur 5. It just arrived and I'm looking forward to playing it. My journey into the Mishima blood feud continues, and I finally understand why this franchise has survived until now. As Benyazi Krosha once said, sometimes popular things are popular for a reason, because they're good. Maybe you also have a popular series that you could never get into, and maybe you should also give it another shot, because you never know where your next gaming obsession will be coming from. Cheers!